But first in the news, while Christians enjoy the freedom to worship here in America, they can pay their ultimate price in other countries. They pay with their very lives.
At least 21 Christians were killed at worship services in Nigeria Sunday, and a radical Islamic group is apparently behind those attacks. Heather Sells has the story.
We're about to start the mass. Then we start hearing gunshot. Bah, bah, bah.
The city of Kano is the epicenter of Boko Haram's holy war against the country and the site of the largest attack this weekend. At least 16 died after gunmen rode on motorcycles onto a university campus and threw grenades in an area where local churches hold services. As worshipers ran out to escape, the gunmen were waiting to shoot them.
It's very sad that this country has to go through this very unfortunate situation.
In another city where Boko Haram once had its main mosque, another attack. In this one, gunmen stormed into a service and began firing. The pastor and 4 other worshipers died. In the past, Boko Haram has said the deadly attacks won't stop until Sharia law rules the country. Its ongoing efforts have created a spirit of fear in northern Nigeria. In January of this year, it launched its deadliest attack to date. Suicide bombers hit multiple locations in Kano, killing 185 people.
The bombs are increasingly sophisticated and powerful. So this has gone beyond a sort of local radical group.
Boko Haram has rejected efforts to begin indirect peace talks with Nigeria's government, and meanwhile the killings continue. It's believed the sect is responsible for more than 450 deaths already this year. Heather Sells, CBN News.
The president of Nigeria is a man whose name I believe is Goodwill Jonathan. I think it's time for Goodwill to get with it and get his army going and suppress those rebels. There are not many of them, but the fact that they would be slaughtering Christians in the name of Islam is just one more evidence that this is hardly a religion of peace. But it needs to be, in this case, fire needs to match fire. Well, George Thomas has the rest of our top stories from the CBN Newsroom. George, what do you have?
Pat, thank you. Well, the financial crisis in Europe is taking another turn for the worse, with confirmation that Spain is back in a recession. That downturn is expected to get worse in the months ahead. That raises the possibility that Spain might need a bailout package like Greece, Ireland, and Portugal. But Spain's economic minister tells Bloomberg News that his country doesn't need a bailout. Tens of thousands have protested the government's spending cuts. But here in the U.S., finally some good news at the pump as gas prices continue to fall this week. The average price for a gallon of regular gas is $3.82. That's 5 cents lower than this time last year and 8 cents lower than this time last month. Experts say crude oil remained stable last week, helping to push gas prices lower. This comes as welcome news to drivers after concerns that gas costs could reach $5 by this summer. Well, journalists, politicians, celebrities, and stargazers gathered in Washington Saturday for the annual White House Correspondents Association dinner. CBN's special guest for the event was Christian singer-songwriter and former American Idol contestant Colton Dixon. Since leaving the show, Dixon has been on a whirlwind media tour. 3 months ago, he says he was just a normal kid and says it was unbelievable to be attending the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
I wear my faith on my sleeve. So hopefully just by talking to whoever I get to talk to, they can see that. But just being able to share my faith on American Idol in front of 20 million people was crazy. Total blessing. You know, I can't believe God used me in that way. And I'm excited to see how he uses me tonight.
Dixon is currently making plans for an album that will be released later this year. We'll have more of our CBN News interview with Dixon on tomorrow's 700 Club. Tens of thousands joined mega pastor Joel Osteen in the nation's capital to pray for America and to lift up the name of Jesus Christ. It's part of the 4th annual Night of Hope. Originally scheduled for Saturday night, weather postponed the event until Sunday. Osteen told CBN News his heart is to encourage people that God has a good plan for their lives.
We just thought it'd be great to come and bring, hopefully, unity to the nation and just, come and celebrate God's goodness here. I think another big part of these nights of hope as well is, Jesus made the statement, if you will acknowledge me before people, I'll acknowledge you.
Part of the event also included a 2-day outreach to the city. Hundreds of young people performed community service projects to show the love of Christ in practical ways. CBN had its own prayer event this weekend to help build an important addition to the CBN campus. Lori Johnson has the details.
It's called the Nehemiah Walk and is much more than a Saturday afternoon stroll. These folks are sponsored. They're raising money for Regent University's Chapel and School of Divinity.
In the Old Testament book named for him, Nehemiah set out to build the wall around Jerusalem with the blessing of the king.
Regent is also building with the blessing of its king, Jesus Christ.
I think it's a fantastic addition to the university. It's at the core of who we are, and spiritual vitality, faithfulness to Christ, to his word.
What made this fundraising walk different were the 7 prayer stations along the route.
We ask, oh God, that you would give fruit from all of the work that happens on this campus, both in the university and in Operation Blessing, in Orphans Promise, and in the worldwide work of the Christian Broadcasting Network.
Even the rain didn't dampen these folks' enthusiasm for what will be the new hub for worship, prayer, and Bible study.
Other universities are turning their chapels into museums or using them for something else, and we're really excited that we're building ours, because this is who we are.
The event ended inside with a word of prayer from Regent's founder and chancellor.
Do miracles, for you are the great I am. You are the author of it all. You are the creator. You are before it all. You are the Alpha and Omega. We give you praise, Lord. Thank you.
Lori Johnson, CBN News.
But I know these 2 buildings in particular are very close to your heart.
We are indeed. We've been waiting, I think, for that chapel for years and years and years. It's going to be a gorgeous place. It's designed after what's called St. Martin's in the Field, which is a famous church on Trafalgar Square in London, and I think it's going to be a lovely place to worship and seek the Lord. And then there's the School of Divinity has been bursting at the seams, and it will have new classrooms and new space for growing. It's one of the 10 largest divinity schools in America right now, but it'll get bigger and bigger.
It's going to be a wonderful gathering place for all of us.
I think so.
It's beautiful, and it's just girders at the moment.
Yeah, but so man, it's so big. It's bigger. We all look and think, wow, I thought it was just a little chapel, but yeah, okay.
U.S. Special Forces join Ugandan soldiers in the hunt for Joseph Kony. The African warlord is wanted by the International Criminal Court for war crimes and crimes against humanity. American forces have partnered with local troops at 4 locations in Central Africa. It's believed that Kony is hiding out somewhere in the region. The U.S. forces are helping provide intelligence and communication skills to help locate the warlord. CBN's Orphans Promise held events for sick children in Kiev, Ukraine. Children were greeted by a robot from the Superbook series. And CBN's concert department prepared a drama, special songs, and had face painting and balloon stations. A total of 10 performances were held throughout the month. 8,000 children attended, and more than 2,000 made decisions to follow Jesus Christ. You can find out more about what CBN is doing around the world by logging on to cbn.com/international.